So in the previous class, we discussed about the detection of matter waves, Davison and Germer's experiment, G.P. Thomson experiment, and Heisenberg considered principle. So these are very, very important topics regarding the matter waves. So today's class, we are going into wave mechanics. That is Born's interpretation of the wave function and its physical significance. Simply, what is meant by wave or wave function of a particle or nothing but matter wave, and give the physical significance of matter wave function. So this is very, very important. The second one is Schrodinger's time independent wave equation. Third one is Schrodinger's time dependent wave function or wave equation. And the last topic of the quantum mechanics, particle in one-dimensional box. So today we are discussing about the 4 topics. So complete wave mechanics and introduction to wave mechanics. Okay. So the first topic, Born's interpretation of wave function and its physical significance. So what is meant by wave? We know very well. So from the de Broglie concept of matter wave, a moving particle is always associated with a wave. So that wave is called matter wave. Here the wave is controlled by the particle. So the wavelength of matter wave lambda is equal to h by mv. So waves are of different types. From the analysis of electromagnetic waves, sound waves, and other such waves, it has been observed that waves are characterized by certain definite properties. What are the properties of wave? Wave consisting of wavelength, frequency, amplitude, energy. These are the basic characteristics of the wave. What are the characteristics of the particle? In the last class we discussed. Particle possess mass, position, velocity, momentum, energy. Wave possess wavelength, frequency, amplitude, and energy, momentum, and also energy. So these are the basic characteristics of the wave. So we have different types, that is electromagnetic wave. Electromagnetic wave is in transverse nature. Sound wave is in longitudinal wave nature. So this is the electromagnetic wave. So here both electric and magnetic components are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So along x direction the wave is moving. Here the wave is moving along x direction. The electrical component is along y-axis. The magnetic component is along z-axis. So electric and magnetic components are both perpendicular to each other, and these two components are moving perpendicular to their directions, that is along x direction. So that's why electromagnetic wave, in case of electromagnetic waves, the electric and magnetic fields vary periodically. So here you are observing the blue color is electric, the red color is magnetic. So in sound waves, pressure varies periodically. So this is this is the speaker in the medium consisting of air molecules. The speaker delivers the voice. So due to that voice, the molecules or the atoms around the speaker are vibrating. Here the vibration of the particle is parallel to the propagation of the wave. Here the wave is propagating in this direction, propagating in all directions. In that direction only the vibration of the particle takes place. But here the vibration of the particle in the electromagnetic wave in transverse nature. This is the transverse nature, this is the longitudinal nature. What is meant by transverse wave? The vibration of the particle is perpendicular to the direction of propagation. That is, direction of propagation is along x-axis. The vibration of the particle is along y-axis. So the vibration of the particle along y-axis is perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave along x-axis. Here, the direction of propagation of the wave, that is along this direction, in all directions our waves are moving. Here the particle vibration is also in the same direction. So here this is pressed, this is trough, but here we are getting only compressions and rarefactions. Here the medium is pressed due to the pressure of the audio, that is pressure varies. In sound waves, pressure varies periodically. Okay, so this is about the electromagnetic wave and sound wave. This is about the transverse wave nature and longitudinal wave nature. Okay. Similarly, in water waves, here the ocean, the waves, water waves in the ocean. So in that, the height of the water surface varies periodically. That means the surface of the water is not constant. Here the height of the surface continuously varies. So that is the water waves. Okay. So now one can ask what varies in matter waves. So here matter waves are not to be, or not, they are not electromagnetic waves. Why? Because electromagnetic waves can be produced by charged particles only. We know very well electromagnetic waves can be produced by charged particles. But here matter waves can be produced by either charged particles or uncharged particles. That means these waves can be produced by electrons, and these waves can be produced by material particles like neutrons also. Here neutrons have no charge, electrons have negative charge. So matter waves can be produced by both charged particles and uncharged particles. So here, what varies in matter waves? In electromagnetic waves, magnetic field and electric field varies. In sound waves, pressure varies. In water waves, surface varies. So what varies in matter waves? So these are the matter waves. So this is the material particle. So here, this is the positive charged nucleus. Around the positive charged nucleus, electrons are moving in their respective orbits. So while moving the electron, according to Bohr theory or according to de Broglie concept of matter wave, a moving particle is always associated with the wave. So that's why here the propagation of the wave in the orbital in the form of a wave. So that waves are called matter waves. In matter waves, the quantity, that means the variation of the matter wave is called wave function psi. So in matter waves, a quantity called wave function psi varies. So these are the matter waves produced in the medium. So from the electron microscope, we are getting this one. So this is the artificial we draw. So this is the real one. This is the real one, the production of matter waves with respect to the nucleus. So here the amplitude varies continuously. Here the amplitude varies. It is going upward and downward, upward and downward. So the amplitude varies continuously. So Schrodinger described the amplitude of matter waves in terms of wave function psi. So here Schrodinger is the name of the scientist. He gave the wave mechanics initially to explain the nature of the matter wave in a matter. So he suggested that the wave function psi gives the information about behavior of the particle in the matter wave. Here the particle is moving around the nucleus in their respective orbit in the form of matter wave. So where the particle is available, how the particle is moving in the matter wave, it can be explained with the help of wave function psi. So Schrodinger described the amplitude of matter waves in terms of wave function psi. So what is a wave function? Wave function psi is a complex quantity, psi of x comma y comma z, which gives the idea of the probability of finding the particle in a particular region of space. Here the particle is continuously moving. So where the particle is at a time, it means, for example, this, let us consider this one electron revolving around the positive charge nucleus. Where it is at a t equal to here, at t equal to another place, at t equal to some other place. So to identify the particle, to identify the nature of the particle, or to identify the energy of the particle, momentum of the particle, we need a special function. A special function was given by Schrodinger. So that wave function can be called as a Schrodinger's wave function. What it gives? The Schrodinger wave function psi gives information about the behavior of the particle in the matter wave. Wave function psi gives the behavior of the particle in the matter wave. And what it gives? It gives the probability of finding the particle in the particular region of space. Okay. So the wave function psi can be represented both the position and time. So, and also which is independent of time also. Psi of r gives the stationary state. That means the particle continuously moving and comes to backside. So that is called independent of time. Only here the particle depends upon the position. In the previous case, the particle depends upon position and time. Psi of r comma t, that is time dependent. Psi of r is time independent. This wave function must be, here we are calling this as a wave function. So wave function means that function should be a well behaved. That means it should be a finite, single valued, and continuous. Finite means you know very well the function characteristics. F of x is equal to x plus 2. For example, if x is equal to 2, So f of 2 is equal to 2 plus 2, which is a finite. If you are continuously increasing the x value, that means the function should be continuous. And also at x is equal to 2, the function value is to be a finite, that is single value. So similarly, here the wave function also, it should be a well behaved, and it should be finite, it should be single valued and continuous over the complete range of variables. What you are varying, the position coordinates, if you are varying x or y or z, the function should be finite, single valued and continuous, and which must extend up to infinity. We can extend this, the values, we are changing the values, we can get the function at everywhere on the wave. So if psi star is the complex conjugate of wave function psi, here psi is the real one and psi star is the complex conjugate. You know very well, if a function f of x is equal to x plus iy, so the complex conjugate of function f is f star is equal to x minus iy. You know very well. Similarly here, if psi star is the complex conjugate of wave function psi, then it requires that integral psi star d tau should be finite. The complex conjugate, the product of the function psi with the complex conjugate of function star gives a finite value. What is d tau? Here d tau can be called as a volume element or elemental volume. That d tau is equal to dx, dy, dz. Here volume element, d tau means it can be, we can write dv, no problem. But here I am taking as a d tau, that is a standard notation for the quantum mechanics concept. We won't write it as a dv. So d tau is equal to dx, dy, dz. We know that because of uncertainty principle. What is uncertainty principle? We know very well. It is impossible to find the position, momentum simultaneously with a desired accuracy. Okay. So similarly, we know that because of the uncertainty principle, the knowledge of any property of a particle is not completely defined. So due to this reason, the knowledge of a particle during its motion is expressed in terms of probability, which is expressed. What is meant by probability? Probability means how many times it may available, or is it available there or not. It gives the probability function. So that probability function of the particle with respect to position, probability p of r is equal to integral psi star d tau. What is psi star? Psi star is the product of the wave function psi and its complex conjugate of function psi. Psi star is the complex conjugate. Already you know, if a function f of x is equal to for example, if you are taking a function f, if the function f is equal to x plus iy, then its complex conjugate is x minus iy. So here also, if the function psi is x plus iy, psi star is x minus iy, x plus iy into x minus iy. So x square minus y square. So x square plus y square. So that is the thing. So the general question is, where the particle is located in the wave packet. We are getting a doubt. Here the particle is associated with the wave. So in that wave, where it is available or where the particle is located in the wave packet. So to answer that, Max Born and some other scientists, Bohr, Dirac and Heisenberg, suggested a new idea about the physical significance of wave function psi, which is generally accepted today. That is, according to this idea, psi star, which is equal to modulus of psi square, gives the probability of finding the particle in the state psi. For example, if you are taking a wave function psi, if you are taking a wave function psi, for example, this is the wave. Okay, in that wave, if here is the particle, so this is the particle. You want to find the particle where it is located. We are applying this function psi star, which is equal to modulus of psi square. What is modulus of psi square? The probability of finding the particle in the state psi. For this wave, we are writing the function as psi. So it is x direction only. That means along x direction only. That is psi of x. If you are taking two-dimensional, x comma y. If you are taking three-dimensional, x comma y comma z. So if we are taking only one direction, the particle, how it moves or where it is located, we can easily identify it. One minute. So according to Max Born, Bohr, Dirac, and Heisenberg suggested that a new idea about the physical significance of wave function psi, which is generally accepted today till. So here the probability of finding a particle in a volume d tau is equal to dx into dy into dz at any point or position coordinate x comma y comma z at a time t is expressed as. Here in the previous case, probability of finding with respect to position. Here the probability of finding with respect to position and time. That is integral of modulus of psi of r comma t square into d tau. So since the probability of finding a particle in the selected region of space is unity, that is particle is certain to be found somewhere in that space. Thus the above expression can be given as volume integral. Here we are taking here d tau is dx, dy, dz. That means here we are taking a volume integral. That volume integral, right, can be written as integral volume integral of modulus of psi square into dx, dy, dz is equal to 1, which is unity. This condition is called orthogonal condition. So sorry, normalized condition. Psi satisfying the above requirement is said to be normalized. So this is the wave function psi. So finally, what it gives the wave function? The wave function psi gives the position of the particle in the wave and behavior of the particle in the wave, amplitude of the particle in the wave, and finally where it is located. That means position. Initially we told that where it is located, it should be finite. That means if there is a matter wave, definitely there is a particle. If there is a particle, there may be exist wave or not. But definitely if there is a matter wave, there exists a compulsory, there is a material particle. So this is about the Schrodinger's wave function psi and its physical significance. So the next one is Schrodinger's time independent wave equation. So we know very well, according to matter waves, a moving particle is always associated with a wave. The wavelength of matter wave is lambda is equal to h by mv. If the particle has wave properties, it can be expressed that there should be some sort of wave function psi which describes the behavior of the particle. So consider a system of stationary waves. Consider a system of stationary waves. Stationary waves means, already I told that in the previous one. If there is a stationary wave, it doesn't depend on time. It is independent of time. Consider a system of stationary waves associated with a particle. Let x comma y comma z be the coordinates of the particle and psi is the wave displacement for de Broglie wave at any time t. Then the classical differential equation of wave motion is given by, if n number of waves, if n number of waves are moving in several directions, if that waves are associated with a particle, then that is called as a matter wave. The wavelength of matter wave is lambda is equal to h by mv. So if the type of n waves are going and these are stationary waves, then the classical differential equation, this is the general differential equation for a particle which is in the wave motion, that is dou square psi by dou t square, second order partial differential equation. Here psi is wave function, dou square psi by dou t square, which is equal to v square into dou square psi by dou x square plus dou square psi by dou y square plus dou square psi by dou z square. So it can be written as v square into del square psi. So what is v? V is the velocity of the particle. What is del square? It is an operator, Laplacian operator. Laplacian operator. Del square is equal to dou square by dou x square plus dou square by dou y square plus dou square by dou z square. This del square, this operator is operand on a function psi. So finally, it can be written as dou square psi by dou t square is equal to v square into del square psi. So it is a second order differential equation. So the solution of the above equation gives psi as a periodic displacement. Here it is wave in terms of time, that is psi of x comma y comma z comma t is equal to psi naught of x comma y comma z exponential of minus I omega t. So where psi of x psi naught of x comma y comma z is a function of position coordinates and gives the amplitude at the point considered. So it can be written as psi of r comma t, r is the position, x y z, which is equal to psi naught of r bar position into exponential of minus I omega t. So here this is a second order differential equation. So here the wave function psi, this is the wave function psi. So we want to replace this psi with this psi value. So for getting the dou square psi by dou t square LHS of this equation, so differentiate this equation twice with respect to time. Differentiate this equation twice with respect to time. So dou square psi by dou t square, first differentiation. Dou psi by dou t is equal to, here this is a constant term, psi naught of r bar is a constant term. So here dou by dou t of exponential of minus I omega t. So we know d by dx of r, dou by dou x of exponential of minus x. Okay. So similarly here also the differentiation. The first differentiation we can get minus I omega into psi naught into e to the power of minus I omega t. And the second derivation also we get minus I omega into, in the initial one, minus I omega into psi naught into e to the power of minus omega t. Psi naught into e to the power of minus I omega t is psi. So that's why we wrote psi here. So here minus into minus plus, and I square is minus 1. So finally dou square psi by dou t square is equal to minus omega square into psi. Substitute this dou square psi by dou t square, that is minus omega square psi, in this equation. So minus I omega square is equal to v square into del square psi. V square into del square psi. This is the, so this is the v square into del square psi is equal to minus omega square into psi. So it can be written as del square psi, taken this v square to the right hand side. So minus omega square psi by v square. So del square psi taken to the right hand side the term, then it can be written as del square psi plus omega square by v square into psi is equal to 0. So but we know omega, angular frequency omega is equal to 2 pi nu, frequency nu, this is the 2 pi nu. We know frequency nu can be written as velocity, frequency nu is equal to c by lambda. Here the particle is moving with the velocity v, so replace that c with the v, so we can write as 2 pi into v by lambda. Why here we wrote v? Here the particle is moving with the velocity v only. We know frequency of the particle, frequency nu is equal to c by lambda, but here the particle velocity is not light velocity. Here the particle velocity is v. Initially we told that let us consider a stationary waves which are moving with the velocity of v. So that's why replace that c with the v. So omega is equal to 2 pi into v by lambda. This is v, velocity of the particle. So omega by v, we want here omega square by v square. So omega by v, which is equal to 2 pi by lambda. So omega square by v square is equal to 4 pi square by lambda square. Substitute this omega by v value in the above equation. We can get del square psi plus 4 pi square by lambda square. This is the 4 pi square by lambda square into psi is equal to 0. According to de Broglie concept of matter wave, the wavelength lambda is equal to h by mv. So this lambda can be replaced with h by mv. So h square by m square v square. So we can write this one. Del square psi plus 4 pi square, numerator same. In the denominator, lambda square we can write as h square and m square v square to be written as a numerator. So this is the equation. Del square psi plus 4 pi square by h square into m square v square into psi is equal to 0. If capital E is the total energy and capital if capital E is the total energy and capital V is the potential energy, then the total energy minus potential energy, which gives the kinetic energy, half mv square. So half mv square is equal to E minus V. So once again, if E is the total energy, V is the potential energy. So total energy minus potential energy is kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is half mv square. What is m? Mass of the particle in the matter wave. What is v? Velocity of the particle in the matter wave. So half mv square is equal to E minus V. We can write mv square is equal to 2 into E minus V. We can write m square v square is equal to 2m into E minus V. M square v square is equal to 2m into E minus V. Okay. So substitute this m square v square value in this equation. Here m square v square is there. So this m square v square value is replaced with 2m into E minus V. In this equation, we can get del square psi plus 4 pi square by h square into 2m into 2m into E minus V into psi is equal to 0. So del square psi plus 2 into 4, 8 m pi square by h square into E minus V into psi is equal to 0. So the above equation is known as Schrodinger's time independent wave equation. The above equation is known as Schrodinger's time independent wave equation. Okay. So in this, if we replace with h by 2 pi as h cross, substituting h cross is equal to h by 2 pi in the above equation. So here h square by 4 pi square, h by 2 pi whole square. So we can write 2m into E minus V into psi by h cross square. It can be called h cross or h cut. Substituting h cross or h cut is equal to h by 2 pi in the above equation, in this equation. What is h cross square? H square by 4 pi square. So they same this one. So the equation become as del square psi plus 2m by h cross square into E minus V into psi is equal to 0. This is also a Schrodinger time independent wave equation. This is also Schrodinger time independent wave equation. By depending upon the condition or the situation, we can write either of this equation. Okay. So for a free particle, that means here the particle is bounded to a certain conditions. That means here the particle have no potential energy. Then the Schrodinger wave equation for a free particle can be expressed as, that means in this equation V is equal to 0. V is equal to 0. Free particle, there is no potential, only kinetic energy. E minus V is equal to what is that E minus V? Kinetic energy. If there is no potential energy, the total energy is nothing but kinetic energy. Kinetic energy means here the particle is in motion. So that's why the particle is in motion. If there is no potential energy, then that particle can be called as a free particle. So the free particles Schrodinger time independent wave equation can be written as del square psi plus 2m by h cross square into E psi is equal to 0. So this equation is for free particle. This equation is for Schrodinger time independent wave equation for a particle in matter wave, or this is also. So this is about the Schrodinger's time independent wave equation. It is very important for the examination point of view. In the previous topic, Born's interpretation of wave function also, it is a short answer. Generally, the examiner may ask write the physical significance of wave function psi, or what is the wave function psi, and write its physical significance. And they may ask as a essay question, Schrodinger time independent wave equation. Derive Schrodinger's time independent wave equation. You should remember this equation. It is very, very important. There is an application for this. So particle in one dimension is the application of Schrödinger's time independent wave equation. So you should remember this equation. Del square psi plus 8 pi square m by h square into e minus v into psi. Or you may remember this one also. Del square psi plus 2m by h cross square into e minus v into psi is equal to 0. The next thought topic of the today's class, Schrödinger's time dependent wave equation. The differential equation representing the particle in wave motion is classical differential equation. Already we discussed it. That is dou square psi by dou t square is equal to v square into del square psi. This equation is valid for both time independent and time dependent. This is the initial equation. For this equation, we are writing in different types of solutions. In the previous case, we write the solution as psi of x is equal to psi naught into exponential of minus I omega t. But here we are writing the equation psi of x comma y comma z comma t is equal to psi naught into x comma y comma e to the power of minus omega t. Same. This is the solution. Classical differential equation solution is same, but the procedure is different. Here we can write as psi is equal to psi naught into exponential of minus I omega t. If you take a partial derivative with respect to time on both sides, then dou psi by dou t is equal to, here the psi naught is constant, so exponential of minus I omega t into minus I omega. So it can be written as, we know psi naught into exponential of minus I omega t is psi. So it can be written as psi naught into, what is omega? Omega is angular frequency. It can be written as 2 pi nu. 2 pi nu. So what is nu? Frequency. So we know energy E is equal to h nu. So nu is equal to E by h. So replace this nu with E by h. So psi naught into e to the power of minus I omega t. Psi naught into e to the power of minus omega t is psi. So psi minus 2 pi I into nu. So here we are replacing nu with E by h. Why E by h? We know E is equal to h nu. Nu is equal to E by h. So E by h. We know h cross is equal to h by 2 pi. H cross or h cut, which is equal to h by 2 pi. So it can be written as dou psi by dou t is equal to minus I into E by h cross into psi. So this is like that. Minus I into E by h cross into psi. What is h cross? H by 2 pi. So dou psi by dou t is equal to minus I E by h cross into psi. So take this h cross into the left hand side. So h cross dou psi by dou t. This minus I to be denominator. So minus means I square, minus 1. I square is equal to minus 1. So this can be written as E psi is equal to I h cross into dou psi by dou t. So the right hand side E psi, this is the E psi, which is equal to h cross, this term h cross to the left hand side h cross into dou psi by dou t. So this is minus I. So this minus I can be written as I square. So I cancellation. Finally we can get E psi is equal to I h cross into dou psi by dou t. So substitute this E psi value in the Schrödinger's time independent wave equation. Already I told that you should remember this equation. This is the Schrödinger's time independent wave equation. Del square psi plus 2m by h cross square into E minus v into psi is equal to 0. Substitute in that E psi value. E psi value. So it can be written as del square psi plus 2m by h cross square into E psi minus v psi is equal to 0. We want to replace the E psi value with the I h cross into dou psi by dou t. So by replacing this del square psi plus 2m by h cross square, E psi is I h cross into dou psi by dou t minus v psi is equal to 0. So rearranging, take this term to right hand side like this. Del square psi is equal to minus 2m by h cross square into I h cross into dou psi by dou t minus v psi. So take this term to this product term to the left hand side. So minus h cross square by 2m into del square psi is equal to I h cross dou psi by dou t minus v psi. So take this minus v psi to the left hand side. It become as a positive. So it can be written as like this. Minus h cross square by 2m into del square psi plus v psi is equal to IH cross into dou psi by dou t. So taken common as psi. Here the psi is a wave function. Here the psi is a wave function. So the above equation is known as Schrodinger's time independent wave equation, and it can be written as h cap psi is equal to E cap psi. What is h cap? Hamiltonian operator. Here this above equation, this equation can be written as h cap psi is equal to E cap psi. We can't cancel psi psi. Here the psi is a wave function, E cap, h cap are the operator. We don't cancel psi psi. If we cancel, there is no significance of wave function psi. There is no validity. So here the function, on the function psi, there is an operator. This operator can be called as a Hamiltonian operator. An operator operands on a function. So here don't cancel the wave function size. So the above equation can be written as h cap psi is equal to E cap psi. What is h cap? Hamiltonian operator. That is minus h cross square by 2m into del square plus v. What is E cap? Energy operator. IH cross into dou by dou t. E cap is equal to IH cross into dou by dou t. This is called energy operator. So you may get these are in objective questions. So pick out the Hamiltonian operator or write about the energy operator. There may be chance in they may become in objective. And also, what is the Schrodinger time independent wave equation? What is the Schrodinger's time dependent wave equation? This is the Schrodinger's time dependent wave equation. Time independent is this one. Del square psi plus 2m by h cross square into E minus v into psi is equal to 0. Schrodinger time independent wave equation. This is Schrodinger's time dependent wave equation. Minus h cross square by 2m into del square psi plus v psi is equal to IH cross into dou psi by dou t. So you should remember both equations. And also h cap. What is h cap? Hamiltonian operator. What is E cap? Energy operator. Energy operator E cap is equal to H cross into dou by dou t. A Hamiltonian operator h cap is equal to minus h cross square by 2m into del square plus v. So this is called Hamiltonian. So we are going to the last topic of the today's class, and this is the last topic of the quantum mechanics. Very, very important. You may get definitely, we are getting 3 sets of examination papers from the examiners from the outside of PVIT. So definitely this question may be in one of the sets. Particle in one dimensional box. Time dependent may be one of the set. And matter waves is the one of the set. So from the quantum mechanics, total questions will come in the 3 sets. Out of 3 sets, we may write in examination only one set. Okay. So the final topic of this today's class and the quantum mechanics is particles in one dimensional box. One dimension means here it is a only one dimension, infinite height. What is meant by one dimension? First of all, when we are comparing to the other 2 dimensions, this dimension is very, very large. So at that time, the other 2 dimensions are neglected. That means when we are considering, if we are considering a 3-dimensional object, the 3-dimensional object can be represented with the help of length, breadth, and thickness. Length is L, breadth is B, thickness is T. So when compared to the other 2 dimensions, that means with the breadth and thickness, if length is very long, that means L is very, very high, then compared to B and D, we can treat it as a one dimension. In one dimension also, we will get the other 2 dimensions. But when compared to the length of the object, the other 2 dimensions are very, very small. Already we explained in the class. In your classroom, there is a blackboard is there. That blackboard is 2-dimensional actually. We are seeing 2-dimensional, but it is also a 3-dimensional. The 3-dimensional is thickness with the wall. Length, breadth. So length we are seeing, breadth we are seeing, but we are seeing the thickness is very, very small. So, but the blackboard is a three-dimensional object, but we are seeing the two-dimensional. So when we are taking account into wire in our experiment, torsional pendulum, there we consider as a wire. So there the wire is, the thickness of the wire is very small. There we are taking the wire as a one dimension. So similarly here also one dimension. One dimension means here the height of the well or the box. This is a box, three-dimensional box obviously. But in the three-dimensional, the other two dimensionals, the width and the breadth are very, very small. So that's why this is called one dimensional. Here the height of the box is infinite. Here both the symbols are infinite height, representing infinite. So here the particle is inside the potential well. Potential means the particle possesses some energy. Due to its position, we are getting the energy. That energy can be called as a potential energy. So particle in one-dimensional box. So about. So let us consider a particle of mass m moving in between two rigid balls. Moving in between two rigid balls at x is equal to 0 and x is equal to L. So the length of the box is capital L. Once again, consider a particle of mass m moving in between two rigid balls. These are very, very strong walls. The particle cannot escape or cannot break the walls. And also the particle cannot escape from the well. Why? Because the height of the well is infinite. So definitely the particle is available inside this box. So the particle is moving in between two rigid balls, x is equal to 0, x is equal to L. So the length of the box is capital L. So here the particle is moving in the form of a wave. So matter wave. So we know if any particle is moving with a velocity v in the form of matter wave, then according to matter waves, the particle possesses the wavelength of the matter wave is lambda is equal to h by mv. And also one more important point, here the particle possesses potential energy. The potential can be written as v, can be taken as v. For the simplicity or for finding the energy of the particle inside the potential well, we are taking as the particle's potential energy inside the well as 0. V is equal to 0 for 0 less than x less than L. What is x? Position of the particle. That means in between these two rigid balls, we are taking the particle's potential energy is 0. And we are taking the particle's potential energy outside the well, or this side or this side. The potential energy is to be infinity. Why? Because if the particle exists outside the wall means the particle escapes from this height. That means it possesses an infinite energy. So this is about the basic information of particle in one-dimensional box. Once again, consider a particle moving inside a potential box along the x direction. Only one direction here the particle is moving. The particle is bouncing back and forth. Munduki venaki here. Particle దీని కొట్టుకుంటది మళ్ళీ వెనక్కి వస్తుంది. మళ్ళీ ఇటు కొట్టుకుంటది వెనక్కి వస్తుంది. Between the walls of the box. The box has potential barriers at x is equal to 0 and x is equal to L. ఇదొక barrier, ఇదొక barrier. Rigid walls. The box is supposed to have walls of infinite height. ఇదిగోండి ఈ బాక్స్ కి infinite height లో ఉంది. The particle has mass m and its position x at any instant can be written as ఎలా చేయొచ్చు 0 less than x less than L if the particle is available inside the box. If the particle is available outside the box means x less than or equal to 0 or x greater than or equal to L. The potential energy of the particle is infinite outside the box. So the particle cannot exist outside the box. Why? Because here the particle have not sufficient energy to overcome the box. So the wave function for the particle outside the box is 0. That means at the potential well, here is also function 0, here also function 0. So the wave is existing in between these two walls. That means I will show you. Here the particle may exist like this or may exist like this. Wave formation, wave motion, or may exist like this. like this. That means here the particles wave starts. Here the particles wave ends. Again, it backs like this. So it is also here the particle starts. Here the particles wave ends. In this case, okay. In this case, here the particle starts and ends here. That is the wave function psi is 0 here, and the wave function psi also 0 here. The wave function psi exists in between these two walls. So if it backs forward, so to and from motion, munduki, venaki, stationary waves, they are producing stationary waves. Okay. కనపడుతున్నాయమ్మా?
కనపడుతున్నాయి.
Once again.
ఎవరు గీస్
Okay. So the particle cannot exist outside the box. Here the particle బయటకు వచ్చింది అని అంటే ఇదిగో ఇంత గోడ దూకొచ్చినట్టు. ఇంత గోడ దూకేటువంటి ఎనర్జీ పార్టికల్ లేదు. దూకింది అని అంటే ఆ పార్టికల్ కి ఎంత ఎనర్జీ ఉంటుంది అంటే ఇన్ఫైనైట్ ఎనర్జీ ఉంది. ఈ పార్టికల్ ఈ బాక్స్ లో ఉన్నంతసేపు దానికి ఉండేటువంటి ఎనర్జీ ఎంత అని చెప్తున్నాం అంటే పొటెన్షియల్ ఎనర్జీ 0. అంటే పార్టికల్ అటు ఇటు మూవ్ అవుతూనే ఉంటుంది, ఎక్కడ రెస్ట్ లో ఉండదు, ఎక్కడ ఆగి ఉండదు. పార్టికల్ ఈ గోడకు తగిలి ఇటువైపు వెళ్తుంది, ఈ గోడ తగిలి ఇటువైపు వస్తుంది. సో ఇక్కడ వేవ్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది కాబట్టి వేవ్ ఫంక్షన్ psi 0, ఇక్కడ వేవ్ ఫంక్షన్ psi 0. సో కండిషన్స్ కనుక తీసుకుంటే psi of x is 0 at x is equal to 0, psi of x is 0 at x is equal to 1. Boundary conditions of the wave function. You should remember. దీన్ని మనం వాడుకుంటాం నెక్స్ట్. The Schrodinger's wave equation becomes, already we know Schrodinger's time independent wave equation, d square psi by dx square. Actually we can write dou square, but I am taking d square psi by dx square along x direction only, along x direction. Actually wave equation is del square psi plus 8 pi square by m into h square into e minus v into psi is equal to 0. But here the particle is moving in one dimensional, so that's why I am taking only x direction only. So replace that del square with d square by dx square. So d square psi by dx square plus 8 pi square m by h square into e minus v. Here inside the potential box, we consider the particle's potential energy is 0. So that's why we eliminate v. So finally e into psi is equal to 0. So put 8 constant, pi square constant, mass of the particle constant, Planck's constant, and e also may be constant for a particle in a particular direction. So put 8 pi square m by h square into e is equal to k square in the above equation. So the equation can be written as d square psi by dx square plus k square. In place of this one, I am taking k square as a constant. You should remember this one. We can use it in another way. So k square into psi is equal to 0. So this is a second order differential equation. The general solution of the above equation can be written as, you know very well, you studied in mathematics also, different types of second order differential equations and their solutions. This is the one of the solution, trigonometric solution. Psi is equal to a sin kx plus b cos kx. So here where a and b are the constants, these constants can be obtained by applying the boundary conditions to this equation. What are the boundary conditions here? Psi of x is equal to 0 at x is equal to 0. E wall దగ్గర. Psi of x is equal to 0 at x is equal to L. So we have two boundary conditions. By substituting these two boundary conditions in this equation, we can get the auxiliary constants A and B. So for that, so this is the equation. The first boundary condition, psi of x is equal to 0 at x is equal to 0. That means place x value 0 in this equation and psi value 0. 0 is equal to a sin k into 0, sin 0, 0. So a into 0, 0 plus b into cos 0, 1. So hence b equal to 0. Once again, in this equation, we are placing x value as 0. So k into 0, 0. Sine of 0, sine 0. Sine 0 is 0. So a into 0, 0. The first term is 0. And the second term, b into cos k0. Cos 0, 1. So b into 1, b. So here psi is equal to 0. Finally, b equal to 0. The first condition, first boundary condition. And the second boundary condition is psi is equal to 0 at x is equal to L. So replace x value with the L and replace this psi value as 0. So 0 is equal to a sine kl plus, we know b value is 0. So 0 into anything, 0. So finally we can get 0 is equal to a sine kl. Here a sine kl equal to 0. Here a is constant. Sine kl is a trigonometric function. So in this a is constant, so a not equal to 0. So definitely sine kl equal to 0. Since a not equal to 0, if a equal to 0, what happens? There is no wave function. Why? Because b is also 0. So sine kl equal to 0. So kl is equal to n pi. Sine x is equal to 0. X is equal to plus or minus n pi. We know. So the same condition. Kl is equal to n pi, where n is an integer and k is equal to n pi by l. What is l? L is the length of the box. Box ఎంత ఉందో చెప్తుంది. Pi is value and n also integer. Conditions. N is an integer. Substitute this k value. Substitute this k value in this equation. Here b is 0. What is this equation wave function? Psi of x is equal to a sine kx. So b term is 0. So eliminate this term. So psi is equal to a sine kx. So substitute k value. What is k value? N pi by l. So psi of x is equal to a sine n pi by l into x. So like this. So finally the wave function psi n of x is equal to a sine n pi by l into x. This is the wave function. In this wave function, we want to get the value a. This is also a constant. So for getting this constant, we should get the normalizer condition. We will take it later. So first of all, we will derive the energy of the particle. The energy of the particle, already we took this one. So this is 8 pi square me by h square is equal to k square. I am taking this one. So the energy of the body 8 pi square me by h square is equal to k square. What is k? N pi by l. So substitute this n pi by l. So finally we can get en is equal to en, this e. I am taking n. N is the number of energy level. En is equal to k square into h square divided by 8 pi square m. Pi square cancellation. So 8 pi square into em. So finally En is equal to k square into h square by 8 pi square m. Substitute k square value, n pi square into l by divided by l square. So n square pi square h square by l square into 8 pi square m. So cancellation pi square. So it can be written as En is equal to n square h square by 8m l square. Here n is an integer. E1 first energy level, E2 second energy level, E3 third energy level. H is a Planck's constant. M is the mass of the particle. What is L? Length of the box. If the length of the box varies, the energy of the particle varies. And if the energy state level varies, energy varies. So energy depends upon the two conditions. One is length inversely proportional. Another one is directly proportional state energy level. So for each value of n, if we place E1 is equal to h square by 8m l square. E2 is equal to 2 square. That means 4h square by 8m l square. So it can be written as 4E1. So I can write. So E1 is equal to h square by 8m l square. E2 is equal to 4 h square by 8m l square. So h square by 8m m square is equal to E1. So E2 is equal to how much? 4E1. So similarly, E3 is equal to how much? 3 square. That means 9 E1. So for each value of n, there is an energy level. So there is an energy level. This is the one energy level, second energy level, third energy level. And the corresponding wave function is given by the equation 1. From this equation, we can get the wave function. Each value of En is called an eigenvalue and corresponding psi is called wave function. So thus inside the box, the particle can have only discrete energy levels. So this is the one of the energy level. This is another. Both are not same, and the second one, third one not same. Note that particle cannot have zero energy. There is no E0, only E1, E2, E3. There is no ground state energy level. Here E1 is the ground state, E2 is the first excited state, E3 is the second excited state. Remember that there are problems. Here there is no ground state energy. Ground state means here E1. First excited state means E2. Second excited state means E3. And one more important point, from Planck's quantum theory, E2 minus E1 is equal to h nu. E3 minus E2 is equal to h nu. E4 minus E3 is equal to h nu. So from that, the difference of any two successive energy levels is constant from Planck's quantum theory. But here, E2 minus E1 is equal to 3E1. E3 minus E2 is equal to 5E1. That means the difference of two successive energy levels is not constant. It is variable. So that is about the quantum mechanics. According to classical mechanics, the difference of any two successive energy levels is constant. But according to quantum mechanics, the difference of two successive energy levels is not constant, but it is continuous. Okay, so that is the point. Okay, so next point, the value of A. So in this function wave, we want to obtain A value. For that, the value of A in the above equation can be obtained by applying the normalizer condition. Already in the wave function, physical significance of wave function psi, we discussed the normalizer wave function condition is integral modulus of psi square d tau is equal to 1 unity. So here also 1. Integral 0 to L. The boundaries of the one-dimensional potential box is from 0, x is equal to 0 to L. Psi star or psi star psi into dx. Here it is one-dimensional. That's why we took dx. Dx is equal to 1. We know psi n of x. What is psi n of x? A into sine n pi by L into x. So it can be written as a square into sine square n pi by L into dx is equal to 1. So sorry, here dx is there. So a square is constant. So taken out, integral 0 to L sine square n pi by L into dx is equal to 1. So integral sine square x dx is equal to 0. That can be written as 1 minus cos 2x. This is x, for example. 1 minus cos 2x. Cos 2 into, what is the value of x? N pi x by L divided by 2 into dx is equal to 1. So taken out the 2 constant. So a square by 2. This by integrating integral 1 into dx x. The lower limit is 0, upper limit is L. Integral cos sine. So here the condition is lower limit is 0, sine 0, 0. Upper limit is L, LL cancel. So sine 2n pi 0 again. So the second term value is to be 0. Only the first term is exist. So a square into L by 2 is equal to 1. So a square is equal to 2 by L. A is equal to root 2 by L. A is equal to root 2 by L. So finally the wave function psi can be written as square root of 2 by L into sine n pi x by L. Okay. Sine n of x is equal to, this is the A value, root 2 by L into sine n pi x by L. This is the wave function psi. So these are the waves, psi 1, psi 2, psi 3. If it is a first wave, psi 1 means n is equal to 1. Psi 1 means n is equal to 1. Okay, n is equal to 2. Crust trough. Here only we have the crust. Psi 3, crust, trough, and also crust. So the probability of function modulus of psi square, which gives the probability of finding the particle. So in this half maximum, so the probability of finding the particle in this case psi 1 is maximum 1 by 2. Here 1 by 4, 1 by 4. Here, so this is the 1/3 the probability of finding the particle. ఇక్కడ ఉండొచ్చు, ఇక్కడ ఉండొచ్చు, ఇక్కడ ఉండొచ్చు, లేదా పార్టికల్ ఇక్కడ ఉండొచ్చు, ఇక్కడ ఉండొచ్చు. ఇక్కడైతే పార్టికల్ ఇక్కడ ఉంటది. Probability finding the particle. So this is the. So here the particle is moving in between the, చూడండి లైట్ గా కనపడుతుంది వేవ్ ఈక్వేషన్స్ లాగా. ఇక్కడ కూడా చూడండి లైట్ గా కనపడుతున్న లైట్ డాటెడ్ లైన్స్ లాగా పార్టికల్ ఉండి వేవ్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవుతున్నట్టుగా. సో హియర్ ద పార్టికల్ ఈస్ వైబ్రేటింగ్ ఆర్ ఆసిలేటింగ్ ఆర్ పీరియాడిక్ మోషన్ ఇన్ బిట్వీన్ ద టూ రిజిడ్ బాల్స్. దిస్ ఈస్ ద రిజిడ్ బాల్ A, రిజిడ్ బాల్ B, or x is equal to 0, x is equal to L. The particle continuously moves in between the two walls along x direction only. చూడండి along x direction, పైకి కిందకి మూవ్ అవుతుందా? x direction, y direction ఏమన్నా లేవు, ఓన్లీ x direction. ఈ along x direction మూవ్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు వేవ్ ఫంక్షన్ ఇక్కడ ఎండ్ అయిపోయింది, మరలా స్టార్ట్ అయింది, ఇటు వచ్చేటప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఎండ్ అయిపోయింది, మరలా స్టార్ట్ అయింది, ఇలా ముందుకి వెనక్కి స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. సో ఇది కేస్ 1, ఫస్ట్ కేసు psi 1 కేసు 1 ఒకటే వేవ్. ఇది సెకండ్ కేసు psi 2, అంటే psi 2 రెండు వేవ్స్ ఉంటాయి కండిషన్స్. ఇవి 3.